Chapter 24, The Price of Passage. The crossing of Valor stretched before them like a living frontier, an immense crossroads where roads of stone, mud, and dust converged into a single point. It was the heart of northern Valdera's trade, a boiling mass of caravans, merchants, nomads, soldiers, and adventurers flowing together like rivers meeting. Alden stopped to take it in. The wind carried the scents of burning wood, sharp spices, sweat, and damp leather. The din was constant, vendors shouting their wares, hurried footsteps, horseshoes striking ground, creaking wheels hauling goods from every corner of the realm. Above them, ether circled in wide arcs, a golden shadow etched against the gray sky. The primordial hawk watched in silence, as if weighing every sound, every scent, every soul gathered in that turbulent place. "Welcome to the crossing of Valor," Doran growled, sweeping a hand outward. "The last civilized point before hell, and even that's debatable." Kale let out a short laugh. "Looks more like a nest of pickpockets than a trade hub." "Both," the dwarf replied, "and neither helps us without a solid plan." They moved through the crowded stalls. Sarah walked with narrowed eyes, measuring every movement around them. Lyanna kept her head high, scanning the crowd with a taut calm, as if expecting danger to spring from any corner. Alden stayed close to her. Luthera flanked him, silent and steady. The wolf drew stares. Travelers instinctively stepped aside to give her space. They reached the raised center of the crossing, where an old wooden sign marked the roads that began there. To the north, Elendor. To the west, Kalendor. To the south, Rivershade, or what remained of it. And to the east, the ascent toward the gates of Karad-dûm. Doran planted his axe in the ground and sighed. "That's where we need to go, but we have a problem." Cal raised an eyebrow. "Only one?" Doran continued as if he hadn't heard. "The dwarves don't let anyone through without an official invitation or paying the toll. And the toll isn't meant for the poor." Kyle opened the pouch he'd carried since Kalor's death. He shook the few coins inside, a sad, almost shameful jingle. "This gets us hard bread and water, maybe a blanket if I bargain well, but a toll? Not even in my dreams." Sarah crossed her arms. "So the glorious mission to save Myranthel is delayed until we find work like any peasant trying to pay taxes." Alden chuckled softly. "We need supplies anyway, and we can't move on without paying. If we look for caravans needing guards, we make progress and earn coin at the same time." Doran nodded. "Best option. I did that work myself for many years. For certain merchants, paying for protection is cheaper than losing their goods." Kale looked him up and down. "And we look like protection?" "I do," the dwarf shot back with a crooked grin. "You're more debatable." Lyanna spoke calmly. "Joining a caravan heading toward Tharzul makes sense. We keep moving and serve a useful purpose." Sarah sighed. "Fine. We'll save the world later. For now, let's find a job." Doran stepped forward. "Leave it to me. I know this place better than you do. Follow me. And don't look at the ones selling miracle elixirs, especially them." Alden smiled. "Experience? Mistakes of youth." And they disappeared into the market. While the group searched for opportunities amid the bustle, night had already fallen elsewhere in the realm. The campfires of the Order of the Ravens detachment burned in neat rows. The men worked in silence, disciplined, their attention drawn to the central tent where Selenia remained in chains. Riven entered without announcing himself. The oracle sat with her legs drawn in, the chain linking her wrists glinting faintly in the firelight. She didn't look up until he set a plate of food on the ground. "Eat," he said. Selenia studied him for a moment. "Thank you." A subtle tension tightened Riven's shoulders, as if the word had caught him off guard. "I'm not kind, just practical. You need to stay alive. I don't believe in cruelty without purpose. Feeding you makes sense." "Even so," she said, "I'm grateful." Riven turned to leave. The chains clinked as Selenia shifted her hands. Just as he crossed the threshold, her voice reached him from behind. "You're not a cruel man, Riven." He stopped, just for a heartbeat, but he didn't answer. He walked out without looking back. Selenia followed him with her gaze. Her blue eyes shone with a mix of sadness and something like compassion. Doran led them toward an area marked with copper and dark green banners. Dozens of dwarves hauled reinforced crates, barrels, and tools. It was chaos, surprisingly well organized. Perched atop a barrel, a stout dwarf barked orders. "That shipment goes in back! In back, I said! By my ancestors' beards, what part of back don't you understand?" Doran laughed. "That's our dwarf." The man on the barrel spotted them and grinned broadly. His beard was braided with metal rings, and his eyes carried a constant glint of good humor. "Borin Haldrum," he announced, hopping down. "Merchant, adventurer, when I have the time, cousin to the king of Tharzul, on such a distant branch that I'm only invited to feast out of politeness. How can I help you?" "We're looking to cross toward Karad Dum," Doran said. "We heard you need guards." "And I need them urgently," Borin spread his arms. "My escort deserted me this morning. Say the routes are dangerous." "Exaggerations, I'm sure," Cal muttered. "I wish," Borin replied. "But they're talking about ghouls, Aragoth, Krogers, hitting farms, travelers, small villages." Sarah exchanged a grave look with Doran. "They're more than rumors." Borin raised his brows. "Then I pay double, and if we reach Tharzul safe and sound, the king gives me a discount on the toll, which I can share with you." Alden nodded. "We accept." "Excellent. Then you should meet the one leading the defense." Borin scanned the area. Dren Vale, get over here, you slacker." A figure emerged between the wagons, a tall man in his early 30s, black hair tied back, two curved daggers at his belt. His movements were fluid, almost silent. "What is it, Borin?" he asked with an easy smile. "These are your reinforcements. Keep my goods alive. And them too, if you can." Dren laughed. "I'll try to make them last longer than the previous escort." His eyes swept over the group, inevitably stopping on Lyanna. "Well, an interesting team." He smiled, charming. "And I must admit, particularly pleasant." Lyanna kept her composure, though a faint blush rose to her cheeks. "Lyanna, Dren Vale," he replied, bowing with exaggerated elegance. "It will be a pleasure traveling together." Ether descended in a soft whirl of air, settling on Lyanna's shoulder with near-solemn grace. His luminous golden eyes locked directly onto Dren. The mercenary kept smiling, but took half a step back. Cale narrowed his eyes. Sierra rolled hers. Alden felt a slight pull in his chest, a sensation hard to name. Luthera growled softly. Doran crossed his arms. "Dren Vale," he muttered. "I've got a bad feeling about this." Alden looked at him. "You know him?" "No, but I've heard stories. None of them good. They say he was an assassin before turning mercenary. Fast, yes, but not trustworthy." Lyanna blinked. "He seemed kind to me." Everyone stared at her. She raised her hands in surrender. "I just said he greeted us nicely." Doran sighed in resignation. "That doesn't help." Borin clapped his hands. "Perfect. Then it's settled. You travel with me, Dren leads the defense, and we depart at dawn." Alden looked toward the road stretching east. "As long as it takes us to the gates," he said, "we move forward." The sun sank behind the hills as preparations ended. The Haldrum caravan was almost ready. And though none of them knew it yet, that passage brought them one step closer to the destiny that had been waiting for them for days.